Good evening and welcome to the news. As you know, there's an additional half hour of news, reviews, previews and interviews on Wednesday. We go the extra mile to pursue stories about Nigerians and Nigeria, updating you on issues already on the front burner and providing fresh perspectives and insight on developing stories. Tonight, 2025 appropriations. President Tinubu presents 47.9 trillion naira budget proposal of restoration to the National Assembly, securing peace, rebuilding prosperity. Post-harvest losses. Federal government moves to provide mini storage facilities to smallholder farmers. Universal health coverage, 2.4 million more Nigerians covered under the Health Insurance Authority within the past year.
So every budgetary provision, every access that any agency requires, we're going to make it available to ensure that we perform for Nigerians in 2025.
Now expect Benny Adams to bring us business stories while we have highlights of the top sports events around the world in our Spot for Sports. As we say on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Now, I know you might be wondering why I'm seated here instead of your regular anchor. I mean the subtle yet vibrant voice which hits your ears and that smiley face who brightens your screen. Well, there's a reason for that. Just recently, the broadcast industry converged on Lagos for the Nigeria Media Merit Award. And of course, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, took the spotlight. And one of the best clinched the much coveted prize. That's why I'm here to introduce her to you, the best newscaster of the year in Nigeria, from the stables of the NTA. Yenre John. Yenre, how does it feel to have this award?
Adatu, I must say that it feels very good. I am grateful to God, for this award. And of course, I must mention that the NTA family is, the biggest that I should be celebrating for this award. I must thank my bosses, my colleagues for making this possible and for giving me the platform. I also want to appreciate the viewers. Yes, this is our win. And Adatu, I know this is a call to more work, better work, and that is what I hope God will help me to deliver.
Well, amen to that, Yenre, and well done. We're extremely proud of you, and you can tell how excited I am to have the privilege of introducing you and having this award come home to NTA. Well done.
Thank you very much, Nadatu.
And now I'll be taking the first spot of the news. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated federal government's resolve to remaining on the critical path of the journey to strengthen the economy of Nigeria, with an ambitious budget proposal of 47.9 trillion naira for the 2025 fiscal year, while presenting the budget before a joint session of the National Assembly. The president said the numbers depict a bold and exciting story of government's direction to retool and revamp Nigeria's socio-economic fabric. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Fellow Nigerians, our 2025 budget proposal is not just another statement on projected government revenue and expenditure. It is one that calls for action.
Codenamed Budget of Restoration, Securing Peace and Rebuilding Prosperity, the 2025 budget proposal is anchored on a philosophy of restoring macroeconomic stability, fostering inclusive growth, employment and poverty reduction, as well as promoting equitable income distribution and human capital developments. The President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, asserts that it reflects his administration's strategic priorities as it continues the journey of renewed hope, which commenced 18 months ago.
The improvement we have witnessed in year 2024 budget has led us into the 2025 budget. The goals of advancing national security, creating economic opportunity, communities, investing in our youth population, infrastructure development, and national reorientation form the core of the year 2025 budget. But more than that, this will lay a solid foundation for a Nigerian's future growth trajectory. I summon the unstoppable Nigerian spirit to lead us as we work to rebuild the fabric of our economic and existence.
The 2025 proposed expenditure of 47.9 trillion naira with 34.8 trillion naira of targeted revenue is ambitious, says President Tinubu, who expresses strong belief that together Nigerians can change the narrative.
Our foreign reserves now stand at nearly $42 billion from negative inheritance. We are providing a robust buffer against external shocks. Our rising exports are reflected in our current trade surplus, which now stands at 5.8 trillion naira. National Bureau of Statistics confirms this. The clear result of gradual recovery, among others, reflected the resilience of our economy and the impact of deliberate policy choices we've made from the outset.
The challenge of insecurity as existential threat demands action as it cripples vital sectors, which is why, in addition to support to farmers, huge amounts have been allocated to defense, infrastructure, health and education.
We are accelerating investment in energy, transport, and public works. Our people are our greatest resource. That's why we are making record investment in education, healthcare, and social services. Our administration has so far disbursed 34 billion naira to over 300,000 students through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund. In the 2025 budget, we have made provision for 825.90 billion naira for infrastructure development in education sector.
The President thanked the lawmakers for the support to actualize the renewed hope vision and Nigerians for the resilience, urging that citizens continue to work collectively to rewrite Nigeria's story. This is the third visit of the President to the National Assembly, twice to lay the budget, and the third was the launch of Nigeria's new national anthem. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Well, that's my bit on News Extra. It's been an honor and a privilege serving the nation this way. And now I'll hand back to Nigeria's best newscaster, your regular anchor, Yenri John. Yenri, do your thing.
Thank you so much, Nadatu. Now let's hit the road. The leadership of the National Assembly has assured the executive arm of government of swift evaluation of the 2025 appropriations bill. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, spoke with one voice during the joint session for the budget presentation. National Assembly correspondent Matari Ikpe reports.
The 2025 appropriation bill is finally laid before lawmakers, leaving the ball in their court for thorough scrutiny of the estimates. The presiding officers of the National Assembly gives kudos to the Tinubu administration for bold economic reforms that have improved the nation's revenue profile.
We commend you on your groundbreaking tax reform initiatives. Though misunderstood, but we will make sure that we listen to Nigerians and dot the I's and cross the T's to the satisfaction of all Nigerians and for the benefit of this country. We will not kill any reform that you bring forward that will change the future of this country.
They, however, solicit the cooperation of the ministries, departments, and agencies of government in the course of consideration of the 2025 budget proposal.
This is not merely your budget. It is a national project requiring collaboration across all arms of government.
Let me take this opportunity to stress the importance of the need for the other ministers and heads of extra ministerial departments to respond promptly to requests from National Assembly whenever they are invited, particularly this period, to come and defend their sectoral allocations.
For other lawmakers, the 2025 budget estimates are quite ambitious but achievable.
It will boost our economy, it will boost our agriculture and its security.
In a manner that reassures farmers to go back to farm, like the president said today.
You see the allocation to defense, over 4 trillion. It is one thing to allocate funds to defense, and it's another thing for those at the helm of affairs to do the needful.
Let there be peace so that we'll be able to get the 2.06 million barrel per day.
When the budget is passed and then fully implemented, is going to help to stimulate our economy.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly says it has deemed it necessary to extend the implementation of the 2024 budget as an enabling law is being put in place for the extension. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And still on the budget, the 2025 budget presented to a joint session of the National Assembly session by President Bola Tinubu is anchored on a benchmark oil price of $75 per barrel, with an ambitious production target of 2.06 million barrels per day. This framework is seen as crucial, as approximately 56% of projected revenues, which is about 19.6 trillion naira, are expected to come from oil, reflecting Nigeria's heavy reliance on oil for fiscal sustainability. The proposed budget totals 47.9 trillion naira, marking a 36.8% increase from 2024, and has a projected deficit of 13 trillion naira. This is also hinged on the fact that oil production has reached 1.8 million barrels per day, up from 1.43 million barrels in June, as federal government intensified efforts against oil theft and sabotage. Experts say the success of this budget will also hinge on effective management of production levels and global oil price trends in an increasingly volatile market. Analysts have expressed concerns over the feasibility of these targets amid Nigeria's economic challenges, including currency fluctuations, instability, and declining oil revenues. And now, joining us in the studio for more insight and for better understanding regarding the 2025 budget allocation and expenditure is the Director General, Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu. You're welcome to News Extra, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, budget implementation has always been a challenge, basically as a result of insufficient funding, of which the 2024 budget is about witnessing a 6-month extension. Now, what strategies are being considered by the government to raise the required revenue for funding the budget?
The budget 2025 is premised on effective implementation strategies, not just of the planned expenditure, but also of the revenue profile. The budget is based on drawing substantial financing from both the oil and non-oil sectors. We have seen that from July to date, the performance of non-oil revenue, in particular taxes, have actually been the source of funding of the federal and some national budgets, even as the contributions from the oil sector was basically nil in the month I have just referred to. So we think that going forward, a lot will be collected through the non-oil sectors, but also security measures are being tightened up to ensure that the country will be able to achieve, if not surpass, what appears to be an ambitious output target at 2.06 million barrels per day.
All right, beautiful, Tanimo. Now we understand debt servicing has been reduced from about 90% to about 63%. What is the wisdom behind this?
The increased revenues were the source of the country's ability to substantially, reduce interest, to substantially reduce the legacy debts that we inherited, which was actually choking up close to 100% of the revenue. If you recall that in the preceding period, the country relied almost on ways and means, which have now been taken off the funding source. The funding source is basically non-oil revenues, and it is the intention that through enhanced security, which will allow the upstream oil sector to maximize output, and also the agricultural sector to generate more output alongside the anticipated export of refined products are actually expected to be differentiating factors as far as the 2025 budget is concerned.
All right. Listening to the president today, there seems to be some harmony between capital expenditure, which is pegged at about 50% of the budget, as against an estimate of 47% for recurrent expenditure. What more should we expect from government as citizens continue to call for the prioritization of infrastructure development projects that drive economic growth?
For the first time in recent economic history, substantial allocation has been made to security, to infrastructure, and also to human capital. Starting with the third, generous allocations have been granted to new universities, new colleges of education, new federal medical centers, and new federal university teaching hospitals. We also have the infrastructure sector drawing substantial amount of money to the tune of 6 billion naira, and I think the difference will come by insisting that the implementation is done in a manner that will ensure that the spending draws value from the amount spent. We also think that the the security sector, which is drawing the largest chunk of the provision, will help to create a stabilizing environment for all production, not just oil, not just agricultural, even our night life, even our highway markets, even our weekly markets, which due to insecurity in some parts of the country have not been able to hold, will by God's grace be open to business, so that people from all over the country will be able to do the ordinary things, that is production, distribution and consumption of goods and services.
All right, interesting that you mentioned nightlife now, but what are government's plans for job creation, inflation management, and poverty reduction?
Inflation is actually at the center of the three issues you raised. Inflation is normally driven, is normally imported through high exchange rate. The fact that we have a bumper harvest this year, we expect food prices to decline substantially. The fact that we anticipate a substantial reduction in oil importation, which used to choke up to 1/3 of Nigeria's foreign exchange, also means that the higher pressure on the naira will significantly abate. You will also see that the Dangote refinery has started exporting refined products, which means we are not only reducing foreign exchange that used to go for the importation of oil, we are also going to expect export earnings from the sale of refined products across the world by the Dangote refinery. Mr. President also has a program that will ensure the availability and affordability of drugs in public hospitals all over the country. And drug price has been a major driver of inflation. Therefore, you can see that a combination of factors are coming into full play to ensure that inflation is tamed, to ensure that prices are affordable, which will make ordinary Nigerians to have access to food at prices that they can afford. We are also committed to ensuring that projects are not just attracting money for the purpose of showing federal visibility, but also that the projects will be completed. When the projects are completed and put to use, we expect that there will be a substantial reduction in the cost of doing business in the country. And this is what is going to bring succor to all and sundry.
Many thanks, Tanimu Yakubu. Because of time, we'll have to leave the conversation at this point. Director General, Budget Office, many thanks for joining us on News Extra tonight.
Thank you very much for having me here.
All right. As we earlier told you, President Bola Tinubu was at the National Assembly to present the budget. At the moment, he is in Lagos, where he's scheduled to have some end-of-year activities. The presidential airplane landed at the Murtala International Airport, Ikeja, at about 3:25 p.m. this Wednesday. Now, with abundant renewable energy resources in Nigeria, the market has continued to attract investment, with the World Bank committing additional $750 million for intervention in renewable energy projects, as the federal government launched another initiative to increase access to electricity. Joshua Ojito reports that the federal government is mobilizing states, government and private developers to leverage opportunities and power critical sectors of the economy.
The federal government launched 2 interventions to upscale access to electricity in the country. The EHAT, which is to energize healthcare facilities, education, agriculture, rural communities and transportation, as well as the DARES program. The 2 interventions are expected to provide electricity to more than 17 million Nigerians, as well as upscale economic activities in the country. World Bank is supporting the intervention with $750 million.
This is also an integrated approach towards addressing the challenge facing the rural areas. So we look at all these areas and design a simple program that can harness all these areas, critical areas that are affecting the socio-economic conditions of the rural areas.
Powering partnerships for sustainable energy access and innovation is the theme for this workshop that brings together subnationals and private developers under one roof to leverage opportunities in the 2 initiatives by the Rural Electrification Agency to increase access to electricity in the country. While the EHAT initiative targets 7.4 million Nigerians, mostly in rural communities, to be connected with solar mini-grid, the distributed access through renewable energy scheme DARES will connect more than 17 million end users. Under the EHAT project, Rural Electrification Agency will provide 60% funding, with state government to commit 30% counterpart fund and private developers are to provide 10% cost of the project.
This, in practical sense, is going to help in demystifying the monopolistic nature of the market, create some cost reflectivity when there are competitions, and the end user customers will have right to choice in the long run.
There's no better time than now. I want to commend the REA. They have done a great job in trying to use renewables to cover the electricity gap in Nigeria.
In the first phase of the intervention, 925 primary healthcare centers and community schools selected across the country will be provided with solar mini-grid, and 1,500 solar water pumps will be made available for agricultural activities. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Elsewhere, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the reconstitution of the executive management of 12 river basin development authorities under the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. Here are the details of the approval.
Olusegun will serve as chairman, Ogun Ocean River Basin Development Authority, while Sanusi Mohammed Babantanko will chair the Upper Benue River Basin Development Authority. Professor Abdul Dauda has also been appointed as chairman, Chad Basin Development Authority, and Mike Ohio Izomo is expected to head the Benin Owena Development Authority. Others are Ibikemi Boy Basin for Niger Delta Basin Development Authority. Haruna Husman will serve as chairman, Upper Niger River Basin Development Authority. Similarly, Abdul Latif Alakawa will be at the helm of affairs for the Lower Niger River Basin Development Authority. Dr. Amos Gizo Yadusko, Lower Benue River Basin Development Authority. Senator Emmanuel Anosike, Chairman, Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, while Adejia Jama'ari River Basin Development Authority will be supervised by Maman Dao Aliu. Meanwhile, Wabili Niam will serve as head Cross River Basin Development Authority, and Belo Yaya Wurno will oversee Sokoto Rima Basin Development Authority. They are to work alongside their directors as President Tinubu expects them to use their wealth of experience to bolster the efficiency of the organizations in line with the administration's commitment to improving the lives of citizens. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has performed the lesser pilgrimage in the Holy Mosque of Makkah, known as Masjidul Haram. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrila reports that the Vice President came for the spiritual journey after visiting the Prophet Mosque in Medina.
Umrah, referred to as lesser pilgrimage, an act of worship undertaken by Muslims involving pilgrims traveling to the blessed city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. The revered Kaaba stands as the epicenter of Islamic faith and the focal direction of worship and performing a set of blessed rituals. Vice President Kashim Shettima, in his ihram, the customary white robes worn by Muslim pilgrims to Mecca, symbolizing a sacred state, going round the Kaaba, performing sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and having one's hair shaven or trimmed.
May Allah grant our nation prosperity and tranquility. May Allah grant our leaders, from the president down to our local councillors, the wisdom of Solomon, the patience of Job, and the generosity of Muhammad Rasulullah. May Allah grant us the wisdom to rule our nation well, to govern our people well, and let there be peace and tranquility and prosperity in our nation.
The Vice President was hosted by the Saudi Arabian royal family, considering the long administration.
Welcome back. Lovers of coffee are about to get a new satisfying experience as Lingzi Global Nigeria Limited marks its maiden anniversary in Abuja with the launch of a revolutionary new blend that redefines the coffee experience. Gano Udema infused coffee. Bosade Ebul Amusu completes the story.
Key players in the Nigeria's coffee industry are optimistic that Nigeria has the potential to earn $2 billion in the next 3 years. To this end, this gathering is redefining the coffee industry in Africa which represents a groundbreaking step towards transforming the coffee industry and creating a centralized, transparent marketplace for coffee trade. This 1-year anniversary unveiled Lindsay Global Nigeria Limited coffee, chocolate, and green tea products, among other benefits. Coffee, as one of the most consumed beverages in the world, the company aims to foster innovation, encourage investments, and increase the overall value of Nigerian coffee on the global stage.
It takes almost 5 years to get the coffee from the coffee tree. If you taste this coffee, your life will never be the same.
It's a remarkable achievement. Your Lion Heart and Vista Thinking have made a significant impact.
As a generational link that impacts knowledge and improves health through a cup of coffee, the passion and recruitment equip members with required skills as ambassadors of the brand.
For Africa and by Africa, we already opened 14 African countries and we intend to move to 52 African countries now.
This is a revamped system. I'm going home with one SUV and 4 of my team members are also going with their SUVs.
25 SUVs were awarded to distributors with the highest volume of sales. So far, Lindsay Global Nigeria has given a total of 50 vehicles in the year 2024.
Thank you so much. Bye, Africa!
Lindsay Global Nigeria says, as it is celebrating its 1-year anniversary and setting agenda for the coming year, the intention is to satisfy, become a household name in Abuja. Bosede Abul Amosu. NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria reportedly loses tons of food after each harvest due to poor handling and inadequate storage facilities. However, this issue is expected to be addressed as the federal government is providing mini storage facilities to smallholder farmers and processors to help reduce post-harvest losses. The storage equipment has been developed by the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. Musa Baba Aliyu has all the details.
In rural areas, many farmers dry their produce in open spaces, often right on the road. The produce, especially grains, are stored in local silos or makeshift stores. This method is particularly common among onion farmers in states where the crop is predominantly grown. These farmers in Kwale local government area of Sokoto State told me that out of every 20 bags of onions stored, about 4 or 5 bags perish. This aligns with reports indicating that 30 to 50% of Nigeria's annual harvest is wasted as a result of poor handling and storage.
Sometimes you produce up to, let's say, 25 tons, per hectare, and then you now have 80% of that wasted, simply because you don't have a proper storage facility.
In response to these significant post-harvest losses, the federal government is implementing various measures, including the provision of drying and storage equipment, especially designed for farmers and processors.
And today, the federal government is now pilot testing the distribution of parabolic dryers and the silos with the aim of making sure that the sole beneficiaries are the cottage small-scale partners.
You can store as much raw materials as you can now at the appropriate moisture content, and it will last long for you as much as you want to keep them and use them.
Selected farmers and cottage industrialists will receive this equipment to assess its effectiveness in real-world conditions. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In other news, to ensure financial inclusion for all in the state and ease the difficulties related to the present cashless regime in the country, the Jigawa state government is training 350 Fulani youth selected from across the state on digital finance and digital economy, among others. At the opening of the 3-day event, Governor Umar Namadi says the exercise will foster peace and financial stability in the Fulani communities across the state. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
These young Fulani selected from each of the 30 state constituencies will be trained as master trainers who will later step down the training to other youth in your respective communities for wider coverage. The training, apart from empowering the benefiting youth, is also targeting and providing access to easy financial transactions in their neighborhoods, where even remote Fulani settlements will not be left out in the cashless regime operating in Nigeria.
Cash is scarce, so we need to assist Fulani in facilitating transactions, especially in villages where it is difficult for them to buy and sell in the market. Jigawa State is the first state to implement this kind of workshop aimed at empowering Fulani youth to become self-reliant.
Governor Umar Namadi states that his administration will continue to provide equal opportunities and level playground for all citizens in the state to attain their full potential, including Fulani living in the state.
This is a great achievement that will benefit not only the Fulani community but also the entire state by boosting its economy.
With this, stakeholders say Jigawa has set the pace for others to follow in the country, noting that easing the economic and social challenges among the Fulani communities will bring about durable peace in the state and the country at large. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
All right, let's have business news now. Benny Adams is here. Benny.
Thank you, Mary. And from cashless to another form of financing. Special advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination and head Central Results Delivery and Coordination Unit, Hadiza Bala Usman, says no more delays in release of funds for the implementation of the presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables in ministries, departments and agencies of government. This is as 2025 is a year of heightened performance with no excuses from assessment of the 2024 of ministries and agencies, particularly Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
And if Ministry of Finance does not release your funds, having met all the necessary criteria, completed your procurement process, the Ministry of Finance will be scored low for non-release of funds. So we recognize that, and we're working to ensure that that is not repeated in 2025, and also ensure within the extension of the budget we amplify and, ensure that we deliver extensively within that period.
Other factors that have held back the sector are things that we have developed a comprehensive plan for, and we're going to be aggressively addressing with the support of Mr. President in 2025.
We're unlocking funds for the small businesses, we're helping them with guidance, we're helping them do opportunities, and we're supporting their workforce.
We agreed on principle to sign a deal for registering over 1 million Nigerians now at the discounted rate. That's the CAC intervention.
I believe 2025 Nigerians will begin to see the impact of this government in a very resounding manner.
This ministry achieving a loan can actually add up to making Mr. President look so good before the Nigerian people.
Looking forward to 2025 as a whole, even after we review what 2024 has been like, I would like the recommitment of everyone so that this ministry will not be in the red come 2025.
Well, ahead of the new year, the market has sustained a positive trend in the capital market as investors smiled home with a whopping 259 billion naira in what footballers would describe as a winning streak, back to back. This is based on the sustained investor interest. And looking at the numbers, you see 389.7 million number of shares exchanged hands at the transactions today, reaching 9,573 deals against 9,578 deals we had yesterday, all valued at 9.199 billion naira, and the equity capitalization is 60.9 trillion naira, taking our all share index to the 100,000 basis point. And we can see, talking about the trades at this point compared with yesterday's transaction, today's data is showing 18% decline in volume, 57% decline in turnover, and as well as the top trade at this point, the Sterling NG 43.5 million, UBA is 26.2 million, and Fidelity Bank is 26.4 million. And on the aggregate, we had 123 companies participating in trading, ending with 42 gainers and 18 losers. This is it on business. Inyere, as you take it from here, I want to say congratulations for being the best newscaster ever for this year at least.
Benny, it's our win. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, let's move away from business now. A calm improper management has made the livestock sector less productive and non-competitive within the past years. The establishment of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development is setting a new course to change the narrative. Yusuf Jika provides this report as the ministry takes steps in turning the tide.
Nigeria's extensive land and favorable climate have historically supported a significant production of livestock, making it one of the cornerstones of the nation's economy. The livestock sector has not only been a source of income for many, but has also been a key driver of employment opportunities, especially for those embracing modern farming techniques. With the establishment of farms across the country, alternative income sources are being generated, contributing to the economic growth of Nigeria. However, to further enhance and modernize this sector, Nigeria has recently inaugurated the new Ministry of Livestock Development. This step marks a significant commitment by the government to support and promote the growth of livestock industry in the country.
Is to transform that sector into a vibrant, sustainable, globally competitive, climate resilient sector that will cater for national food and nutrition sovereignty.
The Ministry of Livestock Development has outlined several key objectives to drive the growth of the sector, including initiatives to enhance breeding practices, establish robust disease control measures, and improve market access for livestock farmers across Nigeria.
Here we are looking at particular breeds that we do believe that have survived and are thriving very well in those economies, and they can do here.
I see a form of harmonization of all opinions for the purpose of growing the livestock industry.
This is a very good initiative.
You can see that action is already being rolled out.
As Nigeria continues to invest in the development of its livestock industry, there is a sense of optimism and progress sweeping across the nation. With the establishment of the new Ministry of Livestock Development, the future looks bright for farmers, producers, and stakeholders in the livestock value chain. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Thanks, Yusuf. Let's head to Katsina now, where Governor Diko Rada has inaugurated the 4th cycle of the KT Cares program, a people-oriented initiative focused on promoting community development and tackling socio-economic issues, with funding exceeding 3 billion naira. The program is set to impact 65 communities, support vulnerable individuals, and assist 4,000 small and medium enterprises within the state. Awal Haliru brings us the details.
Under the program, 65 communities received grants ranging from 11 million naira to 2 million naira to implement community-initiated projects. Vulnerable individuals and households will receive livelihood grants, while SMEs will receive business and skills operational grants ranging from 100,000 to 500,000 naira. In addition, a number of farmers will receive agricultural inputs and assets. Governor Rada emphasized the state government's commitment to supporting the citizens, stating that the program is designed to recognize the power of the people and uphold their right to self-esteem, engagement, and consultation.
This is why we initiated and launched the Community Development Program, where all community stakeholders, village leaders, youth leaders, religious leaders, and all other form of leaders in their communities will have a space to air their views and take part in their community development activities.
The KT Cares program has already made significant progress, with the state government expending more than 9 billion naira in the program's first 3 cycles. These efforts have supported over 1,120,000 citizens in various communities. Awal Halaru, NTA News.
We head to Gombe now. Adhering to the Gombe State Development Master Plan would require sacrifice by the people. If that city of their dream is to be built, This is the position of the Joint Task Force on removal of obstacles on areas carved out as roads in the Gombe City Master Plan. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The Director General Gombe Geographic Information Systems, Gojis Kabir Usman Hassan, leading the task force on removal of structures on planned township roads.
I'm calling on the people that own land in this area. They should try to maintain the dignity of this district as well as respecting the master plan of Gombe State.
While residents in the neighborhood of such infrastructure projects appreciate government for reviving the master plan, a development expert calls on those whose property may be affected to understand that immediate sacrifices must be made for future benefits.
Gombe was a village before, maybe some years back. Today, because of the roads, because of the other social amenities, Gombe State is not a village. Gombe is a city, and the government is trying to make the city into a mega city. That is why some of this expansion of the state and new roads are now introduced, and people are asked to cooperate. So people have to cooperate. This is a sacrifice.
The team inspected the ongoing construction of the Shehu Abubakar district, one of the estates in Gombe Capital Special Development Zone. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Let's talk about the fourth estate of the realm now. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says media workers are essential service providers that deserve a special media salary that the current administration will ensure its provision. He disclosed this to journalists shortly after inspection of the rehabilitated 14-story building Radio House in Abuja. Salihu Gonara reports.
Elated staff of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation welcoming the man responsible for the facelift of the Radio House.
And on behalf of Mr. President, who has made this possible, I want to cut this ribbon as a sign of the reopening of the refurbished Radio House. To God be the glory.
It is indeed a new dawn for the staff here after more than 3 decades of enjoying this kind of working environment.
Staff have started coming to work more than before, because before there was nowhere to even ease yourself and all of that, but you've made all that easy for us. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. We present to you this award.
What we need to do is now to reciprocate this gesture. We need to show better commitment, dedication to duty.
The Tinubu administration has carried out this major rehabilitation of the 14th-floor Radio House with new floors, walls, furniture, interior and exterior refurbishment, including the construction of a new gate.
Today we are occupying about 8 floors out of this number of floors, and so we are the dominant occupants here. And I thought that wherever you walk should look very good. This is first, as the chief image maker of the country. I mean, this should look at least. We have a minimal standard for it, and Mr. President graciously approved funds and enabled us to carry that. Today, I'm proud to say that after almost 20 years of lack of rehabilitation here, the Radio House is back alive again. The staff are happy, all the offices are functioning, the air conditioning systems are working, the toilets have been rehabilitated, and I'm happy working here, and I'm sure all the staff, you've heard from the union leaders, you've heard from the acting permanent secretary, you've heard from other senior management staff of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation. Now, this is one part of it. The other part is what the Mr. President is also doing, improving on the facilities of all the parastatals, the Nigerian Television Authority, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Voice of Nigeria, News Agency of Nigeria, to align them with his vision, to enable them to function as 21st century organizations. And we're already seeing that plans have reached an advanced stage. The President has approved funding for us to begin that process. The decay is so much.
Sometimes I leave the office at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'll just be inside the office working.
By the time I know, I say, it's already 8. I'll just start trying to run home. And this is because of the conducive and comfortable environment.
Then, from the newly refurbished seat of the government image maker, comes this morale booster to media workers beyond the provision of a conducive atmosphere.
Because of the role that the media plays, because of the kind of function, during hazards, during rain, during shine, whatever time, during holidays, the media people are all out there working. Therefore, we desire for them a salary structure that depicts the kind of work that they do for our country. And I hope that this we are going to achieve. But I know, as you know, it's not just a day's work. It's just the beginning of the work. But surely, I believe we'll get there.
Imagine a good working environment and a better take-home package that is commensurate to the services of a media worker, all by the government of renewed hope. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Well, thanks, Salihu. That's great news. Let's look at other stories now. Legacies men leave behind often extend beyond material wealth and accomplishments, delaying their impacts on others and the values they have instilled. A perfect example is veteran broadcaster Aremo Taiwo Alimi. His contributions in the media industry and beyond have been captured in a biography entitled Footprints in Broadcasting. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that the book launch in Lagos coincided with his 80th birthday.
Great achievement, they say, is tied to significant sacrifice and efforts. In the broadcasting industry, the impact often resonates far beyond time spent behind the microphone and in front of the camera. The legacy is etched not just in the news or stories delivered, but in the trust built, standards upheld, and innovations. Veteran broadcaster Aremo Taiwo Alimi is a good example, and documenting how he has left footprints in the sands of time is crucial.
He dreams broadcasting, he breathes broadcasting. His life is about broadcasting. Today we are celebrating discipline because what he left in front of Nigeria can never be forgotten.
He will read the lower third and say that caption is wrong. Look at the grammar again. They call your boys, tell them that they didn't get that spelling right or that grammar. They could have shortened it and reconstructed the phrase this way. The man understands television.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who was represented at the launch of the book Footprints in Broadcasting, described it as a blueprint that can serve as a valuable guide for both serving and aspiring journalists.
There is need for people to be committed, hardworking, mentor people irrespective of where they come from.
The protagonist of the book and celebrant who turned 80 had this to say.
Programs that will help the lives of our people eternally, we should be able to continue programs like that.
Aremo Taiwo Alimi is one of Nigeria's leading broadcasters and media managers. He rose to the position of Director General of the Voice of Nigeria after notable stints with the Nigerian Television Authority, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and other prominent media institutions. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Let's take another break. Please remain tuned.
The general public is hereby invited to the 2024 FRCN Annual Lecture and Awards with the theme
Target, because your space deserves to mirror your impeccable taste. Home options, live well.
Thank you for remaining tuned. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, has revealed that more Nigerians have become insured under the National Health Insurance Program over the past 1 year than any single year since the NHIA's establishment. Professor Pate further stated that 2.4 million Nigerians have gained health insurance within the past year, bringing the total number of Nigerians covered to 19.6 million, which he says underscores the Tinubu administration's verifiable commitment to universal health care access nationwide. The coordinating minister made this known to the public after he chaired the Ministerial Oversight Committee meeting of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, alongside health sector chief executives in Abuja on Wednesday.
The Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative approved by the President and unveiled by the President just 1 year ago. We have seen more than 10 million Nigerians receive critical services in these primary healthcare centers over the last 1 year. We've seen increase in essential care. We've also seen increase in skilled birth attendance. We've seen more than 2.4 million Nigerians have now been covered by health insurance, bringing Nigerians that are health insured to 19.6 million. That's really good progress, but this is just 1 year and more will come next year.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate there. Now let's see other news. As medical experts, donor agencies and survivors of vesical vaginal fistula, VVF, are calling for actions to win the odds against the serious medical condition affecting the health and social well-being of women and girls. Elizabeth Omori reports that at a forum on VVF treatment and skills acquisition, survivors harped on the need for unconditional support from families and society.
Vesicovaginal fistula, VVF, a debilitating medical condition that affects millions of women and girls worldwide, medical experts say is characterized by chronic recurrent urinary tract infections and pelvic organ prolapse. The physical, emotional, and social consequences of VVF can be severe and long-lasting.
Direct causes are prolonged obstructed labor. The head of the baby has come in down stopped. It cannot come out and it's very tight. So that area will now, because of compression, will die out and all the surrounding flesh, they call tissue, will die. But the good thing about it is it can be solved.
Laveth, a VVF survivor, shares her heart-wrenching story.
It's when one of my neighbors is going for the fistula surgery, that 2022. When she told me about the case, I now told her that I have something like that. Like each time I go to toilet, later on I'll still see physics in my body.
Through efforts of non-governmental organizations and strategic partnerships, hope is being restored to these survivors.
It's not enough to stitch them up and send them well on their way. They need to be looked after holistically, mind-wise, socially, financially, in every way, shape or form.
The survivors with requisite knowledge in confectionery were empowered with baking tools to become self-reliant. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Away from health-related matters now, the current administration, through the National Bureau of Statistics, has come up with a concept tailored towards reporting issues within the polity that are data-backed, in line with the administration's goal of running an all-inclusive, data-driven socio-economic agenda. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Communications, Daniel Bwala, indicates that the latest, which is called Crime Experience and Security Perception Survey, is a novel concept that seeks to ensure that information rolled out to the public are data-driven. On security, the Crime Experience and Security Perception Survey, in its first report on data-based survey conducted across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, shows that Southeast has 6.2 million, Southwest 6.9 million, South-South 7.7 million, Northeast 7.9 million, North Central 8.8 million, and the Northwest recorded 14.4 million, while the Southeast recorded the lowest incidence and crime experience with 6.2 million. The report shows that the Northwest had the largest with 14.4 million. However, it is instructive to state without equivocation that the report released that the NBS is a pointer to the several efforts of the current administration in addressing the security challenges in the country. Today is International Migrants Day, and here in Nigeria, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons embarks on road walk to create awareness on the complex issues associated with migration. Ruth Aguele was there.
A walk for freedom. Every step taken accounts for the stories of resilience, progress and hope of migrants around the world. Today, Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Migrants' Day in recognition of the fundamental rights of migration, despite the challenges migrants face in their quest for a better life. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, as part of its mandate to protect the rights of migrants across the country, is leading the campaign with its development partners to beam the spotlight on the invaluable contributions of millions of migrants around the world.
We are ready, and the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is ready to provide protection, provide security, has provided an enabling environment for those that are living here in Nigeria as migrants. We are ready to receive those that are here in this country to develop the country in the area of agriculture and also in the area of technology. We are telling our migrants that we are there for them, we are ready to give them protection, and we are ready to protect their lives and properties.
As migrants continue to navigate their different routes, both internally and externally, to boost economic growth and drive development, the campaign is to ensure policies and practices around migration are upskilled while promoting a safe and orderly migration for all. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
And as the world converges to celebrate the rich diversity of languages, Nigeria joins the chorus, honoring the over 500 mother tongues that weave the fabric of its cultural identity. Gufan Shaji Ugwai reports that in Nigeria, the International Mother Language Day 2024 is a celebration of linguistic heritage.
To action for us to promote linguistic diversity and multilingual education. As a ministry, we recognize the importance of language in promoting cultural identity, social cohesion, and economic development. We are committed to supporting initiatives that promote linguistic diversity and multilingual education.
The intention of setting up World Mother Language Day is to respect individuality and protect cultural diversity.
As Nigerians come together to promote linguistic diversity, they also acknowledge the critical role that mother languages play in preserving cultural identity, fostering creativity, and driving social progress. Now, the town of Gwari, which previously experienced significant social, political, and economic challenges due to insecurity caused by kidnapping and banditry, is currently witnessing a period of improved security. There is an increase in commercial activities at the weekly cattle market, and the residents of Gwari are now able to sleep peacefully with a sense of security. And the Kaduna-Gwari Road, once considered hazardous, is now safe for motorists with vehicles freely traveling along the road without any disturbances. Suraj Abdullahi will tell us more.
There were a series of engagements and efforts by the federal government to secure the area, which prompted the visit of the Minister of Defense, Muhammadu Badaru Abubakar, to obtain first-hand information and also inspect newly established military base, codenamed Operation Pasandoli, as part of kinetic approach in decimating criminal elements in the area.
People also travel day and night, more especially to Kaduna, which before it cannot happen.
The strategic nature of Gwari being a gateway from the north to Lagos through the popular Kaduna-Lagos highway, the town had experienced insecurity, a situation that ruined economic activities in the area, which directly affected the northern part of the country, as it is one of the hubs of grains production in the region. banditry, kidnappings and other criminal activities that beset the axis have come to an end following the signing of peace pact between Kaduna State government and the leadership of the bandits through the efforts of the federal government. Now commercial activities, particularly at the popular cow market, are gradually picking up, while the abandoned Benungwari Kaduna and Provost are busy with hundreds of motorists and passengers flying the road daily. Residents of the area said the peace pact is yielding positive results as farmers access their farms freely.
And at the same time, to continue with the non-kinetic efforts with a view to bringing to total end.
I'm right now inside one of the commercial vehicles conveying passengers from Kaduna to Benungwari, which in the past is unthinkable. Now the passengers are happy and feel secured that applying the road without any security challenge. From Kaduna, Suraj Abdullahi, NTA News.
Well, thanks, Raj. We hope that that community remains safe for the people. Let's take another break. Please stay with us.
As this year draws to a close, we would like
more fun.
Available in alcoholic and non-alcoholic flavors.
Teaser's cocktail drink. Masters of fun.
Thank you for staying with us. Savicom presidency has pledged the commitment to ensure that more ministries, departments and agencies of government key into the Savicom initiative towards effective service delivery in the coming year. Kenneth Nanim reports that Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission was the overall best amongst the MDAs who were outstanding in their performances.
Savicom presidency has been monitoring and evaluating service delivery performances of ministries, departments and agencies of government, ensuring that Nigerians are given the best of services required.
The awareness gone a lot higher. We have also been able to update skills of service providers, public servants, civil servants to render citizen-centered service delivery. So the drive and cruise is getting better.
As the year winds down, Savicom is taking stock of its activities with a view to promoting transparency, accountability and excellent services in the public sector. Having divided the MDAs into 4 groups for effective monitoring of performances, Savicom identified individuals and organizations whose performances were rated from 75% and above in the 4 groups, and they were rewarded.
We launched our service charter, which all other MDAs were looking up to, and we train our source staff. These are one of the key things that we introduced that made us to where we are today.
The primary function of government is the welfare and well-being of the citizens. So Savicom has demonstrated that it is possible.
Appraising performances in its general operations and the 2024 training outcomes, Savicom says it will leverage the ICT trend to advance efficient service delivery in the years ahead. A service delivery feedback portal for more citizens' engagement and adequate coordination of the MDAs for a better result was also unveiled. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Another break is due. Please stay with us.
This is tomato mix. Even after adding water.
Let's now take a look at the world of sports. Badi Adeleye will guide us. Badi.
Many thanks, Yara. Let's begin with women's football, as the Nigeria Women's Football League has announced that matches of the new season will be live on television. Champions Ado Queens and Abia Angels will face off in the curtain raiser for the new season after decision makers in the NWFL gathered in Abuja Tuesday for the annual general meeting where the draws for the new season were conducted, with competing teams in the Premiership drawn in 2 groups. Speaking Wednesday in an exclusive interview with NTA Sports, NWFL chairperson Nkechi Obi revealed that the new season will deliver high standards in all aspects.
We are proposing a highlight show so that we can at least showcase clips and highlights from all the other 6 matches. So there are 8 matches every week, And, I'm just talking about it, I'm really excited to see that. If we get about 3-4 stadiums that can play under floodlight, then you can imagine we play one match at 4, then the second match is at 7. Wow, it gets very interesting.
Still talking football, but what's this time? With yet another spectacular outing at the just concluded 2024 CAF Awards in Morocco, where Nigeria won in 3 categories. Austin Edemodo highlights the achievements of Nigerian players in the history of the awards.
A historic moment for Ademola Lookman and Nigerian football as the CAF African Player of the Year award returns to Nigeria.
Don't let your failures weigh you down, that they break your wings. But in fact, turn your pain into your power and continue to fly.
Lookman stepped into the shoes of Victor Osimhen, who won the prestigious award in 2023.
If you look at his performance, not just in his club side, but even in the country, he has been consistent. Truthfully, it's not because we are Nigerians and we are setting our own.
From Rashidi Yekini in 1993, Emmanuel Amineke in 1994, Victor Ikbeba 1997, and the dominance of Kanu Nwankwo between 1996 and 1999, Nigeria no doubt remains a powerhouse in African football with 7 past winners of the prestigious award. In the female category, Chiamaka Nnadozie lost narrowly to Barbara Banda of Zambia in Best Women's Footballer Prize, an award that was dominated for 6 years by Asisat Oshola before 2024. Interestingly, Nnadozie retained her position as the best women goalkeeper in Africa back-to-back. Super Falcons of Nigeria, who ranked first in Africa, were crowned as the best women national team in 2024.
And this award is dedicated to our First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who has been supporting women football in Nigeria hardly.
Though Edo Queens couldn't make it to the podium, but their nomination under the Best Women Club side in Africa in 2024 is a sign of good days ahead. There is therefore the need for Nigeria to build on this momentum towards achieving greater heights in African football and the world at large. I am Austin Edemodo.
Many thanks, Austin. Let's quickly update you when it comes to the ongoing Carabao Cup in England. And evidently, Arsenal here, they just, claimed a 3-2 victory over Crystal Palace with Gabriel Jesus getting, the 3 goals, a hat-trick there. As at now, the match between Newcastle United and Brentford, they just scored a goal. It's now 3-0. And the one between Southampton and Liverpool just became, 1-2. One for Southampton and 2 for Liverpool. That's the update when it comes to that. And of course, let's now return to Yere, the newscaster of the year in Nigeria. And of course, it's the award season. So Yere, so just like Ademola Lookman, we've got you too as a newscaster of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Buddy. It feels really good. I guess I should meet the best footballer of the year, just so we could, celebrate. All right, many thanks. All right, so that's News Extra tonight. Many thanks to the production team and, of course, the entire management of the Nigerian Television Authority for this platform. And, of course, this award is dedicated to the NTA team in general. I'm Yanwe John. Have a good night.